A quick video. If you guys give me a hard time and say that I'm bragging or something, I don't really care. I'm used to it. Anytime I share how I'm proud of the work I've done and I kind of say things showing off some of the great calls I've made, I get accused of being like, an arrogant braggart, but whatever. You guys say whatever you want. I want to show you because I'm very proud of my work, I'm proud of my group, and I'm proud of my model. It does very well, and I like sharing it with you guys because from a marketing perspective, if I can show you how successful it is, maybe you'd be willing to join my group, learn from me, work with me, and develop a trading style similar to mine. If I can just show you that it actually can be quite profitable, and it can be. Anybody who follows me on Twitter knows how profitable it can be. I mean, some of my trades are incredibly profitable, as you'll see. I want to run through all of my current trades now. This includes the ones I've been stopped out on. Pretty much everything from ZIL on here up to ETC. I've only been stopped out at like 3 or 4. The rest are up massively. Let's take a really quick look. All right, so ZIL. Right now I have 5.7% profit locked in from my original entry right here. So I got 5.7% profit locked in there. That's what my stop loss is. Once we get above this resistance at the 618 extension at 2100, I'll move my stop loss up again, probably lock in another percent profit, maybe 1.2% profit. I'm going to want to see how things play out, but it looks like we're breaking out of this bullish formation that we had, that flag. So I'm going to see how that plays out. It's a bullish pennant. Now, I said once we break out, we can continue our subwave 3. We can lock in additional profits. That's what I'm going to do. Look at ZRX. No, wrong one. This ZRX. Yep, so ZRX, I got 5.7% profit locked in here. We're still below my Ichimoku dynamic supports with the EMAs and the top of the Ichimoku cloud. We also have a support right here, so I'm going to see what happens if we dip down and bounce off of the 55 EMA, which is most likely what will happen. Then we'll continue on into the next impulse, the next mode of wave up, and then I'll move my stop loss as soon as we break through this resistance right here where we got rejected 2 times already. Then I have no doubt we'll get a full 20% out of this run as long as BTC remains even partially stable. BCHSV has been breaking out nicely. Right now, I have my stop loss right on my entry price, so it's a risk-free trade, but we're breaking out pretty nicely. We're moving up a little bit here. I'm up almost 5% already. Once we get above this last resistance here and we start getting into the high 60s, low 70s territory, I'm going to want to lock in 5, 6, 7% profit. My TRX trade has gone phenomenally well. My original entry down here, I had about 2.87% at risk. And then I shared another entry at 1.3% risk with the guys on Twitter. And it continued moving upward, following my Ichimoku model perfectly until the large breakout here. I had this double top, this range on top of this ascending triangle, and it held up and did exactly what my model said it would do. And it's moved up consistently. I'm up 10.5% right now with my profits locked in at that point since I have a stop loss set. But overall, for my original entry, I'm actually up more like... let's see here. To the top of this latest pump, almost 18%. I only locked in 10.5 because I knew we'd retrace a bit. I want to retrace slightly, and then when we start that final wave 5 to finish this wave 3 at the 2618 extension, then I'll be able to lock in 16, 17, 18% profits. BTT, I got stopped out. That's a dead trade to me. I made 2.6% on the trade. A lot of the time when I say I got stopped out of something, it doesn't mean I take a loss. It just means I'm out of the trade. And in the case of BTT, I made a modest 2.6% profit. It's not bad. So I made $100 on it pretty much. Then EOS kind of blew up. This was my entry. It's gone very well since then. At the most, I was up 20.75%. Now I'm back down to only being up about 15.25%. I only have 12% locked in right here after we bounced off of that stop right there where I have that area. I placed the stop right after we bounced right there, and it's been going back up since. Sorry, you know what? I misremembered. My bad. I actually did get stopped out. I had this 12% profit locked in after the main pump up. Then when it came back down, this huge wick right here stopped me out. So I actually did get stopped out of EOS. A lot of the guys who were in the group didn't get stopped out because they didn't have that stop loss set at that point. So they're still in this trade moving upward, gaining more. So they're currently up 15.5%. So that's one I did get stopped out of. ADA, I'm up very nicely from my original entry down here. I shared a new entry with the group last night. I'll share it with everybody now publicly. Who cares? But I'm up 22% right now. Link has been going very well. From my original entry down here, I am up 19.75%. I have 17.5% profit locked in. That's where my stop loss is placed. Waves I got stopped out of. Where was it? I had moved my stop loss up to my risk-free level right at my entry, and then I got stopped out on this tiny little wick right there. You can see it, right? Not a huge deal. I ended up getting out of this trade risk free. I didn't take a loss. I didn't lose a penny. Since then, it's gone up quite nicely. Right now, I would have been up about 7%, but I got stopped out. And once I get stopped out of a trade, I usually don't re-enter unless I'm very optimistic. And in the case of waves, we have a lot of these huge wicks that just drop down and keep stopping me out. So it's not a trade I want to get into right now. My confidence just isn't there. It's not worth it. I have too many other trades that look phenomenal, so I'm not going to waste my time on something that's inconsistent. Then we look at IOTA, which has gone very well. Pretty sure I shared this on public with Twitter as well. Currently up just a shy, a little bit south of 10%, but I have 5% profit locked in with my stop loss right there at 31.40. This was the newest entry that I released, so we bought in after it started moving up here, and it's been going very well since. So even people who got in later on right there are still up. I shared that one on Twitter, so that you guys would be up 5%. My nulls trades are ridiculous. It's just utterly absurd. I had gotten in back down here on all of these individual short-term runs that went up 30, 40, 50, 60%. Some of them, I mean, this one actually went up 41.5%, and they've all hit my targets pretty precisely. So I've made more money on nulls alone on short-term trades than I probably had in the 3 months before. I also bought a very large long-term position in nulls, which I shared in my nulls video. If you look at my YouTube, I have a video just about my nulls trades, and you can see how well I've done. The most recent entry right here is up 17.9% there. I have 10.75% locked in of that short-term most recent trade, even though I still had a bag from my earlier entry down here. And on that particular bag, I'm actually up 45% right now. So goes to show you how well my nulls trading is going. Now, XLM is going very well as well. My original entry down here puts me up at about 11% profit. I have 7.5% locked in right here. My entry on the more recent trade was right here. I shared this with the guys in the group who didn't get a chance to get in earlier, and even they're up a few percent. They're up 3.5% more or less. So I wouldn't move their stop losses up, but I did tell them they should probably move their stop loss up to their entry price right here, right where my stop loss is. I have 7.5% locked in. They're just risk-free because they have their stop loss at their entry. So they can't take a loss even if it crashes right now. But if it does break up and it continues moving up along this path, they should be able to lock in some substantial profits pretty soon. BNB was next. I got stopped out of BNB. I got in here. I actually got stopped out and lost 2.4%. Of all the trades I've showed you, this BNB entry was the first time I took a loss. And on this BNB trade, I actually made 14.5% when I got stopped out at my higher stop loss here. So that was a very large trade. I made a lot of profit. So all I really did on this trade was I put some of my profits back into it, and then I got stopped out for a 2.4% loss. So a very small loss. But again, out of all the ones I've showed you, that's the first trade out of any of my recent trades from the last 2 weeks that I've actually taken a loss on. I haven't taken a loss on any other because the only other ones I got stopped out on, I got stopped out, but I was at profit. I made 10% on which one was it? EOS, I made 10%, and then 12% profit on EOS, and then I made 3.5% or something on BTT. Anyway, so let's keep moving up. Let me show you Quantum. So Quantum, I just shared on Twitter a new entry right here, which is actually a pretty good spot to buy in. Your stop loss is right where mine is. I have 18.5% locked in on my Quantum trade. I got in down here. So I'm sitting right at about 18.5% profit now with my stop loss set there. This second entry was an entry I shared with the group for people who missed on the first one, and even they're up considerably at this point. And then for anybody who missed on that and people on Twitter who didn't get to see my trades in the group, if you guys buy in on this trade right here, I'm pretty confident you might be able to get some money out of it, but make sure you're properly managing your risk. If you enter right now and you use only a 2% stop loss, 2% below your entry, it's a very small amount of risk. Your stop loss will be right where mine is, where I have 18.5% locked in. Neo is doing phenomenally well. I just moved my stop loss up. This is a little bit more aggressive of a stop loss because I think we're getting to the top where we might take a stronger correction. I just locked in 14% profit. So if I get stopped out here, I'm looking at a massive profit. And if this little pump continues, I can move my stop loss up again and lock in upwards of 20% profit. I think as a mid to long-term trade, this is a very high potential trade. The target right here is 64% just on the short-term wave 3, on this mid-term wave 3. It's going to take several weeks to get there. So what I'm probably going to do if I do get stopped out with 14% profit, once we correct a little further below that, I'll buy back in at a lower price, and then I'll ride the rest of this move up. If you want to stay in for that long 60-70% potential move, I would use this alternative stop loss down here at 950 or so. That way, if we do dip down, you won't get stopped out. you'll still be in the trade and you'll be able to follow it along for a longer period of time without worrying about buying back in because you get stopped out over and over. My vet trade's been going very well as well. On that trade, I'm sitting at 17.5% profit now. Even on the latest entry down here, I have 7%. I wrote 8, but because my stop loss was my entry was a little lower than I put on the chart. It was actually down here on the 236 extension, so that's why it says 8. I have 8% profit locked in, but we're pumping nicely there. I think we're going to correct down. If we correct down and stop me out, that's fine. I'm happy with my 8% profit. But if we keep running up from there, I'll be able to lock in quite a bit more. LTC, my Litecoin trade, is more of a mid to long term trade. This was a couple different short term entries I shared, even though I have a very long bag for a mid to long term trade. So my most recent entry here is sitting right at the entry price pretty much. So I haven't taken a loss. I haven't gotten stopped out. I have 2% at risk, and I'm going to give it time to see what develops. For right now, I'm still risking 2%. I'm waiting for that breakout move and get above this resistance. If we can do that, I think this trade's going to pull in 10, 15% within a day or two. ONT looks really strong as well. I locked in 9.75, just a little bit less than 10% profit. It's correcting now. This could also be a good time to buy in. If you were to enter this trade right now, because we're sitting right at the 55 EMA, which is one of my major Ichimoku dynamic supports, what you would see you could buy in right here. You could risk just about where my stop loss is. You would have your stop loss at pretty much the same spot. You'd be locking in, you'd be risking 2.18% risk, right? Buy here, risk 2% and change right there. Your stop loss is with mine. We have the 55, the 99 EMAs protecting us, plus the top and bottom of the Ichimoku cloud. That's all 4 dynamic supports of my Ichimoku model protecting our stop loss from being prematurely stopped out. And then from there, we continue moving up to complete this sequence, which is a short-term target of about 10 more percent, 11 more percent over where we are now. But I think we have a lot more potential than that, especially if we get into an extended fifth wave, then we'll have a much, much larger profit. ICX has been going very well for the group as well. I shared this trade. Up about 7% right now. I haven't actually adjusted my stop loss because something came up, but I'm probably going to place it right below this 3,500 support. So I'll have about 4.5% profit locked in and guaranteed no matter what. And then on the next leg up, once we get above this 382 extension and start moving towards the completion of this motive wave, then I'll be able to lock in additional subsequent profits from there. ETC, I got stopped out on my earlier trade. Let me see, where is that? I think I might have erased it. All right, so this one, yeah, I had 2% profit locked in, so then I missed out. This is just a quick lesson. I got stopped out on this tiny little wick, and then I missed out on the next 15% run up. I could have gotten all that profit if I didn't get stopped out here, but I'm not complaining. I made 2% on the trade. I made a tiny amount of profit, and then I was able to put my capital into other more profitable plays. So I'm not going to complain just because I got stopped out at even money or for a small profit. I'm happy about that. Then after we retraced and came back down, I was able to buy back in. I'm still in this trade now. It's an active trade. I moved my stop loss up to my entry price because it's only up about 4%. It's not up enough for me to lock in profits. I never noted this on the chart that I shared with the group, so let me place this here so I can show everybody. New stop loss at entry. Risk-free. So I'm going to go back and post that to the group so everybody's aware. And then that's it. The APPC trade has been out for quite a while. That was way earlier. Same with XRP. I haven't been in XRP for a couple weeks now. So that's it. Out of all these trades I just showed you, I've only taken a loss on like one of them. I've gotten stopped out on 3 other ones. Of the 3 I got stopped out on, 1 I got stopped out for break-even money. The other 2 I got stopped out for a 2 or 3% profit. Another one, okay, 3 I got stopped out at profit because on Neo I got stopped out at 12% profit. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what my model can do, how my strategy can allow for minimal risk and maximize profits. It's really successful. I mean, I've done incredibly well since I've really ironed out how my model is going to work, and I've perfected it to the best of my ability so far. I can't really think of any other way to make it any better, but if I think of anything, I'm still working on it. There's always room for improvement. If any of you guys want to join the group and learn how I trade and learn my models and strategies, I'd love to have you. If you don't want to, if you feel like you just want to learn on your own and you don't want to join a group, I share a lot of content on YouTube for free. I even have a free Discord group. You can share my public group, and I share some stuff in there, and occasionally I'll share some of our premium group educational Vader University live streams with the public group, so you can keep an eye out for that stuff. But if you really have the time, you want to invest the time, and you really want to learn to become a successful trader, I'm happy to take your money to teach you. I just don't want you to, think I'm going to give you signals and guarantee you all these huge profitable trades, because that's not really what I try to do. I try to teach people how to trade. I share my trades so that I can help you guys get into good plays, but I can also teach you how I'm doing it. And I feel like that's the only way to go about doing this stuff. So let me know if you guys are interested in joining the team. I'd be happy to have you. And if you want to just stick to the free content, let me know what you'd like to see, and maybe I can put out some more helpful free stuff that can help more of you guys out. All right. Thanks for checking this out.